Alrighty, guys. Mic check. 1 2 1 2 3. Mic check. Oh, what a day! Not what I expected. I was hoping for a lot more, but it is what we got. So the number one thing that I'm looking for right now is an SEC filing for a dilution update by the end of the day today. Let's see here. I want to see if we can get a accurate idea of what time. They don't place the time on it for when they post these things. That's a bummer. I was gonna look for a Monday after market close, what time they usually post the filing, but they don't show us what time they posted it. Because then that would give us an idea of what time we should be looking at for today. But I'm sure there's a constant time that they usually post these things. And sometimes we've only gotten dilution announcements end of day Friday, like 3 hours into the aftermarket, or Monday beginning of the day, or Monday after the end of the day. And if we get a dilution announcement, it's game over. As soon as we get a dilution announcement, it's a squeeze for sure. I'm just over here praying that it don't take till next week. No one knows if they got 10 million shares or 50 million shares. That is the question. The only thing we can hope is that we get another 134 million volume traded tomorrow. We're at 1.6 billion shares traded now since we've gotten a dilution update. That ain't no joke. It's a big deal. Days since a update filing, and the last one was just David Mickery selling 300,000 shares. It's actually been 17 days if you don't count that one. That's wild. They've never gone that long in between filings ever. Look at the dates between these filings. February 11th, 14th, 28th was 14 days. There's only 3 days, there's 9 days, there's 8 days, there's 10 days, there's 3 days. From the 6th to the 18th, that's 12 days. So it looks like from the 18th to the 17th of May was the longest they ever waited. And they gave us a whole 10Q at that point. Oh, David Mickery, what are you doing over there, my man? What are you doing over there? They don't have to release dilution before we squeeze. I mean, it's very possible that they wouldn't release the dilution until after, like they'll let it squeeze to 20 or 30, and then let it come back down, and then go back up and down, and then release the dilution. That way no one understands that the dilution was all sold out before we close. But when AMC's closed, it was on the day they released their final dilution, and so part of me believes that maybe they do have to. There might be some type of a rule or law that they're following why they always release these dilution reports. Because the more that they can hide this type of information, the better for them for sure. I just don't know what the limits are. Well, I just figured I'd come on, talk with all the peeps, see if anybody wants to call in. We had 134 million volume traded today, people. 25 million of it was pre-market. Still leaves us with 110 million of market hour trading. I believe this is now our 4th green day in a row. So how did that look daily? Because we had a similar, like a month ago, we had 3 or 4, 5 green days in a row. Let's see. Daily stock market price, MULN. Where was all of our green days at? Looks like it was right about here. Let's see, we went from closed at 105 to 107 to 116 to 125 to 132 to 152 to 160. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green days in a row. And right now, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days. And again, if this pushes, we've gone from this low volume to 37 to 75 to 133. If this volume pushes into their final dilution and they have no more, like we're going to have 7 green days in a row followed by another 7 green days in a row. It'll be a beautiful thing to see. Or we'll get 1,000% gains in a day here any day now. But there's no way the price keeps, like, when this one did the 7 green days in a row all the way to 160 and then came back down to 146 to 131 to 122 to 113 to 102, this type of 160 all the way down to 102 can't happen again. God, Bill, how can I help you?
Do you think MULN's gonna squeeze this month or next month?
Man, I'm all in on this week. I'm sure hoping it's this week, brother. I mean, if it's not this week, it's definitely this month, man. There's no question. Like, if you just look at the math, like, there's no way we're trading 3 billion shares before the squeeze, and we're already at 1.6 billion. And so by the end of the month, we'd definitely be at 3 billion without a dilution announcement. And that would defy all of the laws of math that we are looking at in the data. So it's got to happen in July. There's no question.
Wow, never been so exciting than like MULN's my like #1 favorite stock.
Did you get an AMC or GME back in the day?
I did profit from AMC and GME back in the day, but I was still like dumb to cash it out because my exit point was like 100K, but I lost like 32 grand from AMC.
I feel you. But you were all in on MULN?
I'm all in on MULN at the moment.
My man. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. Never been so excited this year than never.
It is pretty exciting to be a part of something like this. Like, there's so many people out there in this world that don't even know it's happening, but we know it's fucking happening.
And I thought, at first I thought Redbox was the thing, then I was on, now I'm going all in at MULN.
Nice. Yeah, Redbox was, I mean, there was a lot of people pushing hard on Redbox, so I know some people got some bad info there, but it's okay.
Yeah, if anything happened, the volume is not so crazy though. I hope the volume keeps going up,
134 million in volume, man, and we only moved up 4%. That's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Crazy. Well, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Nice talking to you guys.
Yes, sir.
You're my favorite YouTuber.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
All right, have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Oh, my people. See, this doesn't include the last 2 days of volume, which is over 200 million shares traded. So we are at 1.61 billion shares traded, people, since we got our dilution announcement. Oh my goodness. Come on, SEC filing. That is what we want. Give us dilution announcement. 7-Eleven, baby. Today's the day. Man, I really hope we see another 100 million volume tomorrow, though. 100 to 200 million volume tomorrow could get us exactly what we need. Like, you guys gotta understand, this is so much different than AMC at this point. So with AMC, when they started the squeeze, retail had only owned 450 million shares. AMC still had 65 million shares that they could dilute and during the squeeze. And so basically, like AMC's outstanding share right now is 516 million, and the most it could ever be was 526 million. And when the squeeze started, it was at 450 million. So that 60 million shares they had with the squeeze starting around $12 was $720 million worth of dilution that they could have held it at $12 for. But they didn't hold it at $12. They let it run to $72 and use the 60, 70 million shares to slow the squeeze and hold it at certain levels and let it trade sideways at certain levels until people took profits. And then they'd raise it a leg and raise it a leg until people took profits, crash it down and raise it back up, see if people will take profits. And the whole point that they used the 60 million shares was to get people to take profits as it was squeezing. And from during the squeeze, so the start of the squeeze to the end of the squeeze, it went from 450 million shares to 513 million shares. They still had 10 million that they never used, but they used 63 million shares to control that squeeze. And then by the time they got the squeeze under control, even though they only have 10 million shares left to dilute, they got so many people to sell. They now got 200 million shares in the indexes, like the Russell 2000. And so, like, and that's just as good as dilution to them. And so AMC, like, never even got close to being fully diluted. Where if you look at MULN, first off, let's just assume they had 60 million shares. Well, if MULN jumps from $1 to $5, that 60 million shares is only $300 million worth of dilution at $5 a share. And so like when I say that, like, AMC's never been in MULN's spot, there's never been a stock like MULN right now. MULN is the most prime stock in the whole world of all history right now today. And I personally believe they don't have more than 10 million shares, 20 million shares. I mean, if the insiders still got their 50 million, what do they call them? 50 million preferred shares, then maybe they got 60 million shares, but I don't believe it. I would bet they're somewhere between 10 and 30 million shares right now. And if they sell those 10 to 30 million shares that they do have in the next 4 trading days, they will have nothing to control the levels of when this moves up. The only thing that would control the levels of when MULN moves up is retail sell orders. And so if people are going in and putting in limit orders, and whether it's $5 or $10 or $20, it would run to that price in a matter of a second. As soon as they sold their last share, it would run to that price, and then it would be a battle of the FOMO versus the people trying to take profits. And then as soon as that battle is over, it'd run to the next price, and it'd run to the next price. But we know that on the first leg up, whether it's like the $1 to the $5, 500%, it's going to happen in a day. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,000% in a day. It's going to happen. Something big is going to happen in one day, or we're going to have 200 or 300%, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. And it's just going to be crazy to see what happens when it's only retail versus retail controlling the stock price. Because right now they can't have anything left, and anything that they do have left, like as soon as the FOMO kicks in, because we are up 200 or 300%, it's going to be so much greater than anybody is selling. It's a guarantee. I mean, AMC, they had to use 60 million shares of dilution on AMC during the squeeze from 12 to 72. And there was only one day, and it was the very last day, where AMC actually did 100% in a day. AMC went 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30% for 4 or 5 days. And then on the last day where it hit its high and they created a bunch of bag holders was the day it did 100%. MULN's going to be the exact opposite, where all the big gains come in the beginning. And then we'll hit a 30%, 30%, and then another 100% that will be the top. And that's if they're lucky. That's if they're lucky. That's if the FOMO just doesn't beat the crap out of the shorts. The vote date is July 26th. There's a 0% chance that dilution will be added. 0% chance retail won't vote down the dilution bill. 0% chance MULN gets more shares to dilute. This is the least good we've looked for July 15th. I'll be honest about that. Without a dilution update by the end of the day today, July 15th is looking pretty dire. The only thing that saves us is literally buying the last shares they can ever dilute. The only thing that saves us is another probably 250 million volume this week. And they run out of every last share that they have, and we just squeeze mega hard, mega fast. Harry Kruger is an idiot. Top 16 shareholders do not have 50%, 53 to 57% of all shares. Guy's mentally handicapped. Ignore him. You got to be a very, very noob investor to be coming in and talking about stocks and not knowing a goddamn thing of what you're talking about. God, Bill, how can I help you? You got to talk louder. No one can hear you. I got you on speaker, man, and I can't hear you. It's a little bit better. Yeah, a little bit. All right. There's no rolling my calls. My calls are 5 cents a contract at the ask, 0 at the bid. Like they either make money or they expire worthless. All right, you there, man?
Yeah. You hear me now?
It's about the same, but go ahead.
It's crazy, man. I'm looking at this. I'm watching what's going on. I'm only paying attention to MULN and what's going on right now.
For
Only
sure.
thing I'm paying attention to.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm not paying attention to like Lou versus Wall Street or any of the other the other stations.
For sure.
That's promote this whatever because all the bag holders from AMC, man, it's so messed up how at the top when you were saying it's gonna go down to 20, it's gonna drop all the way down, the day it was the day it hit 72 when you were saying that, the video got to still be up somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You were saying, oh no. Hey, you guys, everybody.
I mean, back on Friday when it was $12, I told people it was going to go to a high of 60 to 80.
Yeah, and it went up. It went all the way up. But then when it hit the top, I don't know what you were looking at, but you were like, oh no, everyone's messed it up. But then I saw everyone from. I don't know if we can mention the other channels on.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Because you know how it gets from last time. I know you have a lot of new viewers, but people don't understand like the war that we were in from the beginning before Trey even mentioned AMC.
That shit was wild, man.
Yeah. I'm talking before everyone knew about it when we had that little small. Well, the group was kind of big at the beginning until the whole situation where they like ransacked your page. But I've been here since the beginning. But check it out. No one's talking about this. It's crazy because they all their subscribers and everyone that's on their channel have been bag holding from the top of AMC all the way down, and there's a lot of hurt people. And this is their recovery play right here. This is the recovery play for everyone that was bag holding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. This is the chance for everyone to make everything back and plus a fortune, and they are so stubborn.
Yeah. And they mentioned, but all of them have mentioned it.
For sure.
But the review dork said it's garbage. It's a garbage play.
Yeah, and that guy is one of the most garbage guys I've ever met. So.
Yeah, you can tell.
That guy be doing drugs for sure.
It's all about super chat. But the thing is with what was I gonna say? But yeah, he's the one who mentioned that. But Lou said $5 is gonna go to $5, and that's it. And then Trey mentioned it at the beginning before it hit the 3. When you first mentioned it, said it's gonna go to 3, and then you're gonna make profit, and then it's gonna go down, and then we're gonna wait for it to pop.
Yeah, when I first started talking about MULN, I got a lot of Trey people from their channel coming to my channel and talking, and especially when I made it like an anti-AMC video plus a positive MULN video. And I'm pretty sure that video made it to Trey's Discord, and that's why he ended up making his MULN video, because a lot of Trey people were coming to watching what I had to say about it.
Look, people will look at you and they'll say things because they're listening from this point forward, but they don't understand when you were mentioning AMC before like his channel blew up. You know what I mean? Before the AMC thing that he started mentioning it and everyone else started mentioning it. And the same thing happened with MULN. When we were here, because you got your faithful followers that when you post a video, everyone jumps on. And when you posted the MULN video and everyone started jumping on and we were looking at it, I was like, okay, now let me see how many people are gonna come after this. Even what's his name? There's a new guy, Tony DeNaro, that's like, man, I'm talking about you talking about somebody who's on YouTube, for the cash. That dude is here for the cash. He mentioned that he was gonna put some call options in for the 15th, and he knows what he's talking about, but he used he piggybacked off Luke to get his channel going, that's where the trust me bro knowledge came from,
For sure.
That situation. And I hope I'm not taking up too much time on your live.
Nah, man, I'm just chilling today. I got nothing specific to talk about, so anyone can talk about anything.
Yeah, so but this right here, the MULN situation is unbelievable. Like I don't understand how they're gonna. I don't understand because I know there's a whole bunch of bull that goes on overshorted a lot, you know, and it went, and then it plummeted all the way down. I knew it was gonna go down when I saw everyone like buying into it. I was like, it's just like Clove and some other ones that they were talking about, you know.
I mean, it only had 5 million shares or 2 million shares in the float, and they still had 500 million shares to dilute. So it's obvious that they would never let Redbox do them any damage. Like, the only damage that Redbox did was to MULN stealing retail buying power because it was a distraction.
Right.
Like, everyone.
It was a big distraction.
For sure. But it's dead now. Ain't nobody talking about Redbox no more.
I kept telling people. Yeah, I kept getting calls about it. People kept telling me, I was like, no, please, just leave and stay away. Just kick back and watch. Just watch the fight from the distance, and then you can tell the story about it later. But I tell everyone, I say, you know what, I can't tell you what to buy and when to buy and how to buy it. But like my portfolio is sitting on MULN like it was AMC. AMC would have dropped to zero, I would have been all the way broke. You know? Yeah. Hey, it's all or none with me, but I'm gonna go outside and work on my boat and listen to the rest of your live stream, man.
Appreciate you for calling in, brother.
Hopefully people are not too nervous about calling in. People have questions, they should just call in and ask the question, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that just the people on here are seeing, like, they watch my videos, and I try to make my videos to where you shouldn't have too many questions.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking because of the other channels now. The other channels are live streaming and different stuff, and it's like it's just so crazy now. It changed everything. The whole YouTube thing has changed.
For sure.
So people are scared to call in. You're still going old school with this, with like the calling in and people talking about and asking questions. So the new people that you have on, you're probably a little nervous about calling in, but you guys just call in, man, and you'll get comfortable with calling in. You'll see that this is just a structured community. Just like you said, we're not trying to become the best friends in the world, but we are making this play.
We're here to talk MULN. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. That's right, as a team, we're gonna talk MULN and wait for it to pop, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
For sure. Hopefully do a lot more too.
All right,
bro. Later. Let's see here. Just got a text that says, you say 100% not getting dilution end of the month. Prodigy is saying 100% getting dilution. Can they drag this out past July? They waiting till last second to let this rip. Keep up the good work, brother. I'm with you till the end. Again, 100% chance they will not get dilution end of July. I know this because AMC tried to get 500 million shares of dilution in April 2021 before the squeeze, and retail shot that down. And if you were watching closely, you saw Trey's video where he interviewed the CEO, Adam Aron. And Adam Aron and Trey were basically begging people to go vote because if you didn't vote, your vote was an automatic no. And they said even if you wanted to vote no, it would still be nice for them to know you're engaging and you actually took the time to go and vote. And so they were just begging people to vote. Well, nobody did, and the vote was no. Then it squoze, and then they did another dilution. They asked for just 25 million shares. After it went to $72, they asked for 25 million shares of a company that was 500 million shares, so just 5% dilution, and they voted no again. Which means over 50% of people held even after the $72 squeeze. Now, the FUD about the dilution vote that's being used right now is they're going back to that June 2nd filing where it talks about David Mickery owning 150 million shares to dilute, and basically all the insiders combined being like 160 million shares, and not dilute, but to vote. And if you read that same filing that they're talking about, it says that these are the voting powers of the shares for the people as long as they continue to own this stock. Well, we know that after that filing was produced, the free float went to 407 million shares. Well, if you add up, and that filing said that there's 472 million shares outstanding. And that was also when the free float updated to 407 million shares, it said 472 million shares outstanding. And so we know that those 150 million shares that said David Mickery owned were put in David Mickery's name, but then used to dilute to retail. That's the only way retail could have gone from the 300 million shares to the 407 million shares of the float, is that those shares are put in David's name, were then diluted to retail. And so it's 100% fact that retail now owns those shares. If you are just new to investing, let me educate you real quick. The purpose of American investing into publicly traded companies is to own a piece of a company. It is to be an owner of that company, and that company is responsible to you. That is why you put your money in a company. You don't put your money into a company hoping they'll make you rich. It's not like you're just betting on red or black. No, you are buying into the future of a company, and your vote, your voice, your everything matters. That is the point of a publicly traded company. And so just like the SEC filing says, those votes were only theirs as long as they kept the shares. We know they did not keep the shares. And so as soon as they diluted it to retail, retail took that voting power. Now, if you read the filing, it says that they got like 160 million votes to vote with. At that same time, before they updated to the 407 million float and 472 million public or outstanding shares, we were at 332 million outstanding shares and 300 million float. So at the 300 million float, if they own 150 million votes, we would still own 150 million votes. It would literally be almost deadlock 50-50. And we know 99% of retail is voting no on dilution. Point is, any way you looked at it, it was obvious MULN was going to vote no on dilution from the beginning, especially from historical look-backs of how retail handles dilution votes in the past when they are begging on their knees for you to give them dilution. Aaron's gone on TV at least 3 or 4 times and said, the stock price went up after we diluted. Talking about several different times he's diluted in the past. And what they're not acknowledging is that retail came in, bought $500 million worth of shares, and they let the price go up 20% as they dilute $400 million. And so they're like, yeah, the stock price went up 20% when we diluted. Yeah, but it was going up 1,000% before you diluted, bitch. Damn. Aaron's the worst. So again, 0.0% chance MULN will get their dilution. Nothing to worry about there. It is definitely less than 100% chance that July 15th is going to pay. I'm here praying. That's for sure. We definitely need some volume to keep on coming in the next 2 days if we're going to squeeze by Wednesday. And I think we got to squeeze by Wednesday if we're going to break $10 this week. We got to start the squeeze by Wednesday, in my opinion. It's too late, Tyler. People are already voting. The vote for no on dilution's already happening. People are already too angry and they're trying to get their voice heard by voting no right now. Like I said, there's a 0.0% chance dilution will get approved. The only chance that they would have is to let the stock price run to $20, $30, $40, let retail sell 60 to 70% of the shares they own. But the problem is that the votes has already happened. And the votes are based off people that own shares at a certain date, and it's not going to be based off people that own shares a week before the vote. And so, if anything, they'll have to let it squeeze until retail sells 70% of the shares, and then they'll have to dump all those into the indexes, all those extra shares, and then they'll have to come up with a new vote, a new time, and a new date, and all that good stuff, and then they'll have to they'll get all the proxies from the index funds, and then they might be able to vote themselves dilution, but absolutely no chance it happens on July 26th. Nick Burton, I believe that they are withholding information still. I am hoping for by the end of today that we get a dilution announcement. Dilution announcements typically come at the beginning or the end of day on Mondays. And so I'm still hopeful we get that announcement during the after hours. We are at 4 positive trading days in a row right now. If we look at this guy right here, 99 cents, $2, $7, $17, $22. And the last time we saw a similar pattern to this was right here. We went from $1.05, $7, $16, $25, $32, $52, $60. And if you do all the math that I've done, we're at 1.6 billion shares traded since the last dilution announcement, which would strongly suggest the next one's coming today. I guess technically it's possible it can happen next week, but the math does say it's coming today. And if it comes today, it will prove that they have no more dilution, and improving that, the difference here where this drops to 160 and then all the way back down to 99 cents, we won't see this again because there is no more dilution. And so what happens when it slowly climbs and then they realize they got no more dilution? Because I promise, like we've seen for 5 months now, no matter where the price is going, up or down, there's always more buyers than sellers. So anyone talking about, oh, they're just raising the price a little bit to get a bunch of people to sell and all these penny traders, that's not real. They hire people on Twitter to go push that narrative to try to get you to sell. Dilution is proof that that is not real. There's always more buyers than sellers, no matter where that price is moving. If it goes up, it gets all the people that chase when they think it's finally squeezing. If it goes down, they get all the people that are in it for the long haul that are dollar cost averaging. And when it trades sideways and goes up just a little bit of hair every single day, multiple days in a row, it's because they're getting too much buying pressure and they can't move it up or down. And so when they move it and just barcode it, that's when they get the least amount of volume. But they're still getting too much volume, and so they keep letting it go up. In my opinion, like, we are already squeezing people. You should be getting an email to vote for the MULN dilution. If you live in certain countries outside of the United States, you don't always have the right to vote. But that didn't affect AMC at all, so I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. If you do live in the United States and didn't get the email or whatever, like, you don't need to vote. You really don't. Voting don't matter. As long, like, if you don't vote, it's still going to be a vote for no on dilution. And so as long as you don't sign a proxy, if you fill out a proxy, you definitely got to vote no on dilution. But if you just totally ignore it and don't do anything, it's an automatic no for all your shares, and you ain't got to worry about it. Yep, they are hiring people to call people and ask them to vote yes on dilution. Don't worry about that either. AMC, I'm almost certain, did the exact same thing. They went even further though. They had Aaron go on trades, and they had trades, and a bunch of other people talk about how dilution's good and how we got to build the strength of the company and let them have lots and lots of money so that they can run a great company and save the company, and then the stock price will go up. Yeah, fuck you and fuck that. We here for a squeeze, motherfuckers. Aurelian Bonzin. Not every shareholder has a vote. I know for a fact there are several European countries that do not get the right to vote. So you can keep your nonsense to yourself, because I've been through this before. I've had many foreigners call into my channel asking about that, and then calling their brokers and then reporting back to me, and it was a verified fact. In many European countries, you do not get to vote. I'm sure there's many countries out there where you do get a vote, but not all of them. Not all of them. Give me dilution update. It's all I need. It's all I want. MULN stock price will only continue to go up from here. And if it doesn't hit $20 by the end of this week, it will by the end of the month. 100% guaranteed. Like, I tried to not make any videos this weekend so people could just focus on that mathematical proof of dilution. It is a mathematical proof, people. They are out of dilution, and when you're out of dilution, you can't do nothing but let the stock price go up. If they beat all my call options I got that expire this Friday, I believe that the only way that they could do it is if we trade 20 to 30 million shares a day, every day for the next 4 days, or if the short interest ends up between 100 to 200 million shares by the end of this week. But if they do the short interest to 100 to 200 million shares by the end of this week, they will lose billions of dollars when we squeeze up, way more than what they would have lost in the options. And even though I may not make the money I thought I was going to make, because my options all expire worthless, I would still consider that a victory if they push this up to 200 million shares short. I would consider that a big victory. And you would see the markets crash much, much harder when MULN did squeeze. A lot of bulls and bears showing up that weren't very talkative on MULN in the past, showing up on Twitter. And then a lot of the bears are new bears, like brand new accounts, July 2022 accounts that are just saying the dumbest crap. That's weird to see the Ortex utilization at 131%. I don't even know what that means. Like, have we ever seen a stock have utilization over 100%? I thought AMC's utilization has been 100% even for like the last 70 days. But the whole time it could have gone higher than 100%? Like, that's just weird. Very weird. They've already started delivering vans. Like, you guys, if you didn't listen, David Mickery was talking back in March. He didn't say that he was going to have a signed van deal by the end of June, by the end of Q2. He said we're going to have delivered vans by Q2. It's my opinion he's already delivered 10,000 vans. So there's a slight chance that they said they wanted some upgrades or changes to the vans, and he's got 10,000 vans waiting that are going to take another couple weeks to modify. But it's my opinion they're already delivering the vans. And I believe that the MULN 5s will be out at least by mid-2023. No, you guys are talking about cost to borrow, not utilization. Redbox short interest was 200%. SST cost to borrow was 700%. Give us an SEC filing. It's time, David. It is bloody time. MULN just barcoding in the after hours between 120 and 122. Really hoping we see another 9-figure volume day tomorrow. Really hoping. Without that, this week will start looking a little dire. I don't know, that Heights dispensary order seemed kind of bogus from the beginning. Like all the news that was posted on that was years old. But when you see a stock being talked about in so many different ways, and so many different opinions, you know half of the opinions are paid distractions to confuse you. The other half are uninformed retail investors that also end up confusing you. And a lot of confusion is always a good sign that the stock price is going to move. And we know it ain't moving down. And when you combine it with dilution, you know for a fact that it's moving way up. We got 110 viewers on right now, and I got basically nothing to say. I'm just chilling with everyone right now, waiting to see if we can't get a SEC filing. Come on, MULN. There's so many bullish indicators for MULN right now. Like, so from March all the way to May, you just had the absolute madness. You had the short interest going above 130%, the cost to borrow going above 800%, the borrow fee going up to like 40%, and you had them like emailing everybody and their mama to borrow shares. No, they do not have to drop an SEC filing. It could be next week. I don't know when they'll drop the SEC filing. I'm just extremely hopeful that it comes today. But We had all that craziness with MULN go on. Then it dropped from a high of in May, it was like a high of $3 all the way down to 78 cents. And then from there, we overtook $1 and ran to about, let's see how it happened. So this is the fourth time that we've made dollar our bitch. So if we look right here, we fell all the way to 76 cents on this day right here, May 12th. 87 cents right here was the close. And then we ran to a high of $1.25 right here. And so this was the first time that we made a dollar our bitch. And we did it in about 300 million shares traded. Then we fell back down to a low of 98 cents, traded sideways all the way to 95 cents for a couple 100 million shares. Then we made dollar our bitch again, went to a high of $1.68. So that's the second time we made the dollar our bitch. Then we fell all the way to a dollar low right here, closed at $1.05, ran all the way to $1.71, definitely making $1 our bitch again. And then we crashed all the way down here to 90 cents. And now we've hit a high of $1.40, definitely making $1 our bitch again for the fourth time. If you think we're going back to $1, you're not very smart. Not very smart at all. The Prodigy is a fucking retard. Everyone knows it. If you can't handle the Prodigy saying stuff and it bothers you, then block him. You will never get valuable information from that motherfucker. He is paid to confuse and to distort. If you don't believe that, you are crazy. You've seen what they did in AMC, how far they went. You don't think the minimum they do with MULN is send in some bad actors to act like bull investors and always give wrong advice at the wrong time? That's what they do. Over the course of 5 months, they might have been right about a couple of things, but never when it mattered. That's for damn sure. Moon Market on Twitter's blocking MULN people. That's funny. That guy was one of Redbox's biggest pushers. What a scam. I definitely don't ask people to like and share my stuff, but if you're thinking about your own investment, there's nobody that creates a better bull case for MULN than I do. So if you're going to like or share anybody's stuff, it should probably be mine. Just something to think about, people. But I'm not going to beg you for that. I don't care. At the end of the day, my YouTube's gonna blow up when MULN blows up, and there ain't no stopping it. I probably would have made $5,000 to $10,000 in the last 5 months if I would have been monetizing all my videos. But we ain't here for that. We here for hedging money. Well, I just did this YouTube live just in case anyone had any questions. I figured I'd jump on and let people know I'm still here. Still the biggest bull in town. Praying for big volume for the rest of this week. The only thing that can take this another week is just dropping to 20 million shares of volume for the next 4 days. Godpill, how can I help you?
I'm feeling high on MULN on Friday, man.
You all in or what?
Fuck yeah, man. I got like fucking 20 contracts on expiring fucking this Friday, and then next month, monthly, I'm fucking all in.
Nice. I like it. I like it, man. Well, let's get paid.
Hell yeah, man. Let's get it, man. I'm feeling it.
Me too.
Fucking all in.
Me too.
All right, brother.
Thanks for the call, brother.
Yes, sir.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Man, MULN pre-market today was an ultimate tease. I wasn't ready for that tease. That tease hurt my heart a little bit. I really wanted to see $2 today. If we don't get paid today or this week, and I somehow manage to find more money to invest, and the option prices stay exactly where they are right now, I would probably be buying July 29th expiration $3 strikes at 5 cents a contract. So if I had money today, right now, like if I'm bullish, which I am, I would be buying July 29th 5-cent contracts at $3 strikes. If I wasn't, if I was scared and I needed a little bit of comfort, I would probably buy the August 22nd $3 strikes for 10 cents a contract. Those would be the only two strikes I'd be looking at this point. All right, guys, I'll hang out for 10 more minutes. Let's see what happens, see if we can't get some news in the next 10 minutes. I got a feeling that we might get news every day this week, though. As the price goes up, they just drop another piece, drop another piece. This was the last day they gave us a dilution update. We're a full month since then. Unacceptable. The report we got was definitely not the Fortune 500 news. That was about a new order for 600 bands. The Fortune 500 news is for 25,000 bands. Says, what's your opinion on David Mickery? Is he with us or not? He is not with us. He may not be the worst human being in the world. He may not hate retail as much as other rich people do. And he may have worked really hard for his company and done a lot of work and business dealings to get in a position where he could take MULN public and do all these great things with MULN. But for a fact, he is nothing but a pawn that does what he is told to do at any given time, whether it's by the SEC or somebody else, it doesn't really matter. But he is being told to do whatever he can to slow this squeeze down, and he is doing what he can to slow it down. So definitely not on our side. I am not a fan of David Mickery or any other CEO. Yeah, some of those MULN option pricings are pretty sensitive. As soon as you start buying contracts, it moves the price up until you close out the limit order, and then after the volatility goes down, the price on the option goes down again, and you can buy back at the cheaper price. Pretty crazy. Bitcoin taking a dippity dip. It's at 20,194 right now. It's the lowest it's been in almost 5 days. Man, I really thought we were going to keep running at the end of the day. I thought we were going to get back to 20, 30, 40% positive. Better be coming tomorrow. With lots and lots of volume. I'm just reading some MULN tweets right now, see if there's anything good out there. All right, guys, just 4 more minutes. I'm going to hang out till like 3:01, 3:02 Pacific Standard Time. See if they don't give us our announcement by then. Got a new member. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate that. What is it? Airline Bonzen? Thank you, thank you. Hopefully the work is soon to be rewarded. And that reward would come to all of us. That's the way I want it to happen. We all get paid at the same time. That is the best way to make this happen. Somebody says, hi, joined late. So if you answered this already, I apologize. Why do you think David hasn't released his big news yet? I believe David has not released his big news yet because they have so little dilution left, whether it's 10 million or 50 million shares. And I believe that they believe that if they release their news that they have already delivered 10,000 vans, and have already a functional vehicle and already a plant that can build and deliver vehicles, that it would increase the amount of buying pressure from retail. And that there are people sitting on the fence waiting to see how that pans out. And so they will wait to announce that information only after they've already lost the squeeze war. And they are just trying to drag this out to the very last possible day. And as soon as they run out, they will give us all of that news. And they will say, this is why the stock price is going up so high. And we will all know that really it was the dilution war and they couldn't do nothing else but let our stock price go to the freaking moon. And hopefully we will be able to preserve the truth for all people that come looking for answers after the MULN squeeze. Hopefully they won't be able to hide from the fact that this was a successful dilution war once again, as AMC was. And hopefully retail starts to learn in mass just how much power they have over the rich ruling elite that control your everyday lives and do everything in their power to keep you content with being broke and surviving check to check, because that is their goal. Give you just enough entertainment, give you just enough hardship, raise prices just enough that you don't revolt, but you are content, and that you just keep on chugging along as part of a little piece of the wheel, turning the whole system, letting the rich party day after day after day. Because that's all they do. The rich and powerful, all they do is party. You get a couple of them that work hard for a couple months at a time to go be special in sports and all that garbage. But they all partying all the time, living their best lives all the time, and they don't do shit for nobody. Nah, Charlie Hayes, I didn't have any moderators. I just started adding moderators 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And so before 3 days ago, I had 0 moderators. Alrighty, well, we still have not gotten our SEC announcement, our SEC filing. I guess we'll call it a day. Hopefully it comes in the next 2 hours during the after hours, but man, the only thing that I'm really hoping for now is big volume for the rest of the week. Push us to the final share of dilution, because I don't think they'll use short interest to stop the squeeze, because it costs them a lot more than it does to let the options pay. Everybody say a prayer. It's going to be one hell of a week, that's for sure. Good luck to all.